And I feel like when you're able to have something that lasts 20 years, you have no need to buy more stuff, you know? If you have an essential t-shirt that you can wear once a week, you don't need to buy 20 more, you know? And I feel like that's really where I want to focus in terms of the idea of sustainability.
We are back on Shades of Beauty with clothing designer Bami. Bami, tell us about the moment where you knew your designs were meant for something more.
I think, honestly, probably when, I don't know, I don't really pay attention to like reception as much anymore, but I think that when I'm able to like set the platform for conversation, I feel like that's when I was just like, okay, like, you know, this is deeper than just like the clothes.
So for you, it's about making a statement and being thought-provoking. Because I know I mentioned that you take more of a scientific approach. You kind of want to, you use your designs to make a deeper impact than just seeing something. You know, it's about feeling something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's, you know, I think that clothes like without concept like are just material, you know, and I feel like fashion has to have communication involved. It has to have dialogue. It can't just be, this is pretty and that's it. It has to, you know, I feel like it has to be a little bit more than that. It
has to have purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you always been like that, or was there like a shift, or were you seeing something that lacked around you, like a lot of artists?
I don't necessarily know if I like saw like a gap, but I just felt like from my background, it just felt right. You know, it was just like, okay, you know, studying biology in school, I was just like, how can I incorporate that? And I felt like the mixing of the two felt unique enough to really like drive my aesthetic.
Wow. That's dope.
I'm blown.
No, seriously, because I think when it comes to concepts, people assume that art and science don't mix. And you kind of like keep them separate. And when it comes to like something that's more like emotionally moving, science is so fact-based that you can't combine the two. But I think you've created something really beautiful and unique that literally combines the two, and people are kind of like, okay. Like, we're mind blown. So I know people who wear your clothes are like, wow, this is dope.
No, thank you. Yeah, I feel like, you know, even though they're like kind of on different ends of the spectrum, there's like a lot of beauty in science. There's a lot of science in art, you know, and it's like when it comes to how you react to seeing a painting on the wall, it's like that's psychology, you know? And I feel like that has to do with color, that has to do with design, you know, it has to do with how things feel. Like, it's all psychological. So I feel like there's just so much overlap that people like overlook. Yeah.
So how did you start building your brand? When? And did you just kind of like fall into it, or did you wake up one day like, this is what I'm gonna do?
No, so even like my line like called, you know, my full name, Bami Aleshe, I wouldn't even consider it necessarily a brand, but more so just like a collection of like portfolio work that feels like close to me. I originally got into at least like approaching design in college. I've always had like kind of a knack for it, even in high school. I started off modeling late in high school, early college. And then I started a kind of like an art collective with a few of my friends from university, doing design for them, graphic design, product development. So that was kind of like how I got into it and how I like got, you know, at least the very first like steps when it comes to, you know, the experience, and that started building more.
I'm someone who's passionate about like inclusivity and body positivity within fashion. I'm curious to know, when it comes to your designs, do you find that it's often a big hurdle to jump? And like, what do you do to make sure that, you know, all different body types are included in your designs?
Yeah, I think like, you know, when it comes to the process, I think that a part that I feel like I'm making an effort is when it comes to like my fit models. Like, I have different fit models of different sizes that help me try on the same style, you know, and see like how things like need to change when sizes get larger or when sizes get smaller. So I feel like that like goes into how people feel when they wear the clothes. Obviously, it's like you can tell when design is meant for a particular like subset of people. And I feel like I think that's something that I want to approach even more, is how I present my work. Because even though I keep that in mind behind the scenes, I feel like the way you present it is oftentimes the only way you can communicate that, you know, that effort is being made and that, you know, the design is inclusive.
I feel like he takes so much care with this, like the way you just speak about the process. You know, I feel like we're in a time where we just want to get things out and rush through it and just slap a design on something. And now I got a clothing line. And just the way you talk about it is really like art. Like,
thank you.
I feel like watching you create would be like watching someone paint.
Yeah, it would be like this beautiful process where you see like the start and the finish. I think that's just amazing.
It's amazing.
No, I feel like it has to be intentional, right? Everything that we do has to have some type of intention behind it.
Yeah, because if not, it has no purpose.
Exactly.
Well, we have to pause for a moment, but we'll be right back with more Shades of Beauty right here on LATV. Welcome back. We are still here with the one and only Bami. So, are there any projects that you're really passionate about right now?
Oh yeah, I just started kind of like building out how the fall winter is gonna look for me. So I've been like doing a lot of like research on like technical wear and like, you know, like light nylons, doing like a lot of like fabric research. There's a ton of different like kind of like bio-inspired fabrics made out of like mushrooms.
This guy.
This guy. Out of
like,
mushrooms.
yeah, recycled nylons. Like there's just a bunch of like ton of stuff out there. So I've just been trying to like narrow down like what I want the focus to be, but that's, you know, for like later in the year.
Nice.
And yeah, that's been really exciting.
Seems something that's important to you.
No,
know,
definitely.
Making sure that it's helping the environment while also looking good. Especially now it's more important than ever to make sure that your clothes, or at least what you're producing, is helpful and not harmful. You know, because it's really easy, I think, to be like, in the name of fashion, I can use whatever materials I want. But it's like, if there are smarter options,
why not?
That are that are more conscious, why not?
Yeah, and I think that like even when it comes to like the idea of sustainability, I feel like it's, you know, it's definitely like a buzzword in fashion right now.
Absolutely,
it's like everyone can say that they're sustainable, whatever, you know, and everyone makes like, you know, their contributions, whether it's on a small scale or a large scale. But I think that like the way I think about sustainability is like, you know, there's garments that you wear once and you can't really wear them again, you know, or like they don't really look the same as the first time you wore them. And I feel like that's the least sustainable option, even if you're making it sustainably, you know, where it's like, I want to create something that can last you 20 years. And I feel like when you're able to have something that lasts 20 years, you have no need to buy more stuff, you know? If you have an essential t-shirt that you can wear once a week, you don't need to buy 20 more, you know? And I feel like that's really where I want to focus in terms of the idea of sustainability. But obviously, like, you know, the fungus nylon is cool too.
Yeah,
right?
no, that's dope.
Yeah,
It's
that's
very
cool,
new,
right?
very
Never
fresh.
heard of that.
Never heard of that a day in my life.
What?
I'm curious to know, like, is that a big pillar of how you built your brand? And like, are you able to give me like 3 things that are at the core of what your brand stands for?
First would definitely be like education, because I think with every concept that I have, like I want to be able to like foster like community or like foster dialogue, and I think with dialogue comes, you know, learning new ideas. I would say intentionality, like, or intention, I guess.
Love it.
Where it's like I'm not making clothes just to make clothes. I feel like it's like the market is so saturated where it's like if you don't have anything to say, you know, you really shouldn't be saying anything, right?
So, as far as fashion trends go, how do you feel about the way things are going? Are you liking some of the stuff? Or are you like, you're waiting for it to be over?
No, I think there's parts of the industry that feel exciting. I feel like, obviously, like I said, like things are very saturated and it's hard to find like something that really resonates with, you know, the individual. I think as a consumer myself, like I look at things where I'm like, okay, I like some of this stuff. You know, you filter out what you like and don't like. But what do I think is super exciting right now? I think material science, like, you know, I've kind of talked about this already. Like the idea of material science and like just like innovative fabrics is like cool to me. And I feel like that's something that like I'm really trying to make an effort to learn more of.
Absolutely.
So when I see like brands, you know, large or small, really, I get impressed by the small brands that do it, you know, because it's like they're making that effort. They might not have the resources to really be like, you know,
mass producing.
Exactly. And I feel like that's where it's really cool.
What about things that you're like, oh, I don't know about that. Like,
I feel like I'm like not as fond of like the like slap a graphic on a t-shirt and call it a day.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like, I don't know. It just, you can tell when something is like lazy, and I feel like that's like very easily communicated. So I feel like, yeah, I'm just like not as like fond. Typically, I really used to be a huge fan of like graphic t-shirts. Like all my shirts had something on them.
Yeah.
But now I'm just more like, okay, how does it fit? What's the, what does the color look like? Those are things that in my personal style, like I've been really like focused on.
I love
Nice.
that. Well, where can we find you?
Yeah, I want to
We'd
keep up
love
with
to
these
know.
mushroom nylons.
Yes, tell us more about the mushroom. Where can we find the mushrooms?
Well, I have a website, like a portfolio website that includes like my e-commerce called bamidele.co. And then on Instagram, it might be Bami. That's where I put out a lot of my work. Just like, communicated it through Instagram as we all do.
Awesome. Y'all, please go check him out. Thank you so much, Bami, for joining us.
Thank
It's
you.
been amazing getting to know you. We're so appreciative. When we come back, we'll be hearing from our girl, Nadia Brooks, host of our sister show, Black Dignidad, who sat down with Afro-Mexican singer Ima Soul. You're watching Shades of Beauty.